Okay, so now that you're getting ready to put the side cover on, you have to line up a few things at the same time before it'll pop back in. And the one thing I was trying to show is this little guy right here. That's your clutch adjustment right there. That pin, you have to be able to line that up through the hole when you're putting the cover on. That little guy right there will spin too. Also, the first one I go for is a foot peg and the shifter, and everything can kind of shift. Get these two first, then look in the hole and see if you got that one. And then there's one down here, right there. That's on the shaft that runs the chain adjuster. And once you get it up and close, then you can put that stop nut on there just to hold things in place until you can get around and start working on all these guys. And check your gasket and kind of make sure everything's looking good. And I'm gonna tighten that up and resume. Stop. Alright, so I got the case snugged up a little bit, and I got some of the bolts, the case bolts, and naturally I put the same bolts back in the same hole. That's something good to do, just keep everything the same. And now I'm going to put the peg back on and snug it up. And next thing I'm going to do is adjust the clutch. I backed off on this right here, so that has to be brought back down in a little bit. And you can, let's see, I got a heck of a lot of play in my clutch cable. That, I guess I have to pull this back out. That's got to be backed out like this a little bit. And that'll tighten it. You can feel the cable starting to come back in. When I push the clutch cable, you can see when you pull the grip, it moves that. It turns it. So let's see what else. I gotta put this part right here. Has to go in this way. And has to thread in. I'll thread that in, and then I'm going to go get my documentation, check out the exact procedure for adjusting the clutch. It just basically entails turning that with a flathead screwdriver. I think you lock it in all the way and back it off a turn or something. Let me check my manual and see what it says, and we'll come back again. Okay, so what the book says is you put this guy inside, and then you snug it up, and then turn it clockwise a quarter of a turn afterwards. Let's see if I can do that with one hand. Let's see. Now I gotta put it down. Hang on. Okay, so I got that piece in there threaded all the way. And so what you do is you turn it counterclockwise, and it'll tighten up your clutch cable. It'll tighten the lever up. So if I'm going to turn this counterclockwise. It's almost near snug, and you should see that move. So I'm going to turn this and line it up, and you'll see that clutch lever come up and snug up. So everything's snug. So this adjustment here is snug. And I still have this not tightened down, so that's not tightened down yet. But it gets everything in. So then what you do is you tighten this clockwise, you back it out a quarter of a turn, which gives you a little bit of play. should give you some play in the clutch lever. It gives you a little bit. You're looking for about 1/16. So that's cool. And then this little gizmo sits back on top of it in that groove with the spring. And then this guy, this cover will go back down on the side and hold it all together. Which I don't really like the way this is done with the slot, because you really can't get a wrench on it and you have to buy a special tool, and you can see where it gets boogered up over the years. So now I gotta tighten up this bolt here, and I want to check the torque specs on these. I haven't really torqued it down. I want to try to do it to the actual specs. And then we'll add some fluid here. First we gotta check the chain, because the chain's right flopping all over the place. So you just set the clearance. I gotta put this little guy back up underneath, and that will give me the opportunity to set the chain tension. So I need the specs for the chain tension movement, the slack in the chain, and I need the torque for the bolts. And then I'll put some fluid in. See ya. Alright, we're back. Got everything mostly sealed up, and a couple things. This is the service manual. I got this off eBay. It was still wrapped in plastic. I didn't want to unwrap it. I don't know where it came from, but this book is brand new. And I had an old manual I got from a motorcycle shop that wasn't even Harley. But at that time I didn't know you could buy the actual books. And there you go, official factory manual. So that's really helpful. And somewhere I had information on it. So what I'm going to do is tighten up the case bolts. And to do that, use a torque wrench. I don't know if you've ever seen one. Some people have, some people don't. But you know, you set it up here, you adjust the tightness you want, and when you're tightening in, this tool will kind of break or make a clicking sound right here. You know you've reached your desired tightness. It's a little anal overkill, but it should be done right. Also, when you need to put some of this stuff on the threads, anti-seize lubricant, especially if you're using bolts. That's aluminum case and stainless steel bolts. They're two different kinds of metal, especially where I live, right on the ocean. So if you have some corrosion, you need to have this stuff no matter where you live. You should be using this stuff. It'll save your butt. I don't think I would have been able to get some of the bolts off the cover, access covers, if they hadn't had this on their threads. Let's see, and we'll return. Okay, checking the manual, the footrest assembly. That's this right here, this acorn bolt. If you need to know, it's 24 to 36 foot-pounds. Let's see what else. The pinch bolt. This is a pinch bolt. Right here, it pinches that together and holds it on there. Pinch bolt is 90 to 110 inch-pounds, but that works out to be almost 8 foot-pounds on a conversion. Let's see what else. The drain plug up underneath for the case, or drain plug down under here, they're saying 14 to 21 foot-pounds, which I've never did a drain plug, but not a bad idea. The case covers, that's these right here, these little guys are replacements, so it's not stock. That is 8 foot-pounds, and the chain tensioner stud nut is about 10 foot-pounds. That's the one down here, that one there. And I don't think I have one for the actual covers. for these right here. I don't know if I have a spec for that. And also the chain tension. You'll see the chain inside there. Right now, there's a whole bunch of play in that thing. And that's supposed to have 5/8 to 7/8 of free play on a cold engine. And I think it's 3 to 5/8 on a hot engine. So I imagine you're going to be doing that cold. But 5/8 to 7/8 up and down. And let me get this together and we'll come back. Okay, next step is to put some fluid back inside. You can see the chain there. I already set the tension on it. So it does move a little bit, but not much. The drain plug's in. That's up underneath there. Drain plug's in and torqued. So what you do is you take out this this bolt. I'd like to change it to a regular bolt instead of a Phillips like that. That goes up in here. Let's see if I can get a shot of that. That goes up in there. So basically you pour your fluid down the hole, pour your fluid in here, and then it'll start dripping out on the bottom. And I'm going to use the official Harley. Well, this is a RevTech product. I'm just going to pour that in there. It's about 1.5 pints. It should start coming out. There we go. Okay, so it's dripping out a little bit. I'm going to let that sit for a second and put the cap on. See ya. Okay, we got the side cover on, and the clutch is working. I still have to adjust this a little bit. I have a little bit too much play, but that's not a big deal. And I started putting the horn and the ignition back on. I'm not sure if I can. I didn't tighten it up actually, and I'm not sure if I can hook that up yet. And the reason why is because I'm going to do the carburetor, and when I do the carburetor I'm going to have to get into these ports, and there's straps that goes around here, and I don't know if that's going to block my way. I haven't even looked at that yet. That's a little tight. Let me show you the carburetor. Okay, so I got this is an S&S Super E, and the carburetor goes onto intake manifold, and it uses a seal, uses a rubber seal. I've got new rubber seal. Well, they're not new, but they're newer in the package. I didn't buy them. I had them sitting there. I think I'm going to use those, and I've got these aftermarket straps. They're a lot better than the stock straps. They're nice and wide. See how wide that is? That really gets a good bite. These are the ones I guess I took off a long time ago. If you have a leak in here, a vacuum leak, your engine won't run right. It's really critical. If these things get old and dry, it'll give you all kind of trouble. You can see it starting to crack right here. See that? This has got to go. Okay, you can't have that. So these have to go. At least I have replacements. I was thinking about trying this spacer. I've had this around for a while. This spacer sets the carburetor off about 1 inch. And then there's another spacer that comes with the Super E. They call it a phenolic spacer. It keeps the heat away. And that would go onto here. You've got an O-ring seal here. It backs into that. This O-ring seal would go into here. And then this O-ring seal would go into the manifold. Something like that. I don't know if I'm going to have the right, that's going to change my carburetor. It's going to mess up my air cleaner bracket. I might have to change that. And then you have a back plane. I guess that would go on the other side. That would change this. This is a mount for the air filter. And that's a choke. This lever here fits in and operates the choke. So the stock choke cable doesn't apply. And I'm gonna mess with that. And I also found another set of plugs. That's cool. So I have spent zero, other than I bought some PB Blaster, which I needed anyway. And this is what I recommend for cleaning aluminum. This can's not too good. It's all watery. It's old. But that's what I would recommend using. And I guess I'll continue.